Question number 166. Select the mismatch between the type of cell given in column 1 and its corresponding character of function in column 2. The very first option given in column 1 is interstitial cells. And as we have already discussed the structure of testis in human reproductive system, we have seen that the testis is composed of testicular lobules, which consists of seminiferous tubules, and these seminiferous tubules are lined by germinal epithelium cells. So inside the seminiferous tubules, we have two types of cells, germinal epithelium cells and Sertoli cells, but outside the seminiferous tubules, we have these interstitial cells. And these cells are known as Leydig cells. And these cells are responsible for the secretion of hormones called androgens, which are mainly testosterones in males. Now let's discuss the question. So interstitial cells act as source of testosterone, and this is a correct match. Second option is Sertoli cells secrete androgen binding proteins. Now the cells which are present inside the seminiferous tubules called Sertoli cells or nurse cells, they are responsible for the nourishment of growing spermatozoa, as well as these Sertoli cells will also releases androgen binding protein. So this option is correct. Option number 3 is spermatids are haploid, and this is a correct match because spermatids, which are male gametes, are haploid. Fourth option is first polar body is formed prior to birth of baby, and this is an incorrect statement. As you can see in the stages in oogenesis, the oogonium, which multiplies in ovaries of fetus female, it will grow into primary oocyte. And this occurs each month in ovary of female after puberty. And this primary oocyte after meiosis 1 will produce the first polar body and secondary oocyte by an unequal division. So this means that this first polar body forms after puberty and not prior to birth of baby. And this first polar body has been released into the perivitelline space of secondary oocyte. So our correct answer is option number 4. Now let's proceed to the next question. Question number 167. Changes in ovary leading to ovarian cycle in primate result from hormones primarily secreted by. So in this question, we have to find out that which structure is responsible for the secretion of hormones that will lead to the changes in ovary. Alright, now the very first option given is neurohypophysis. Neurohypophyses do not secrete any hormones. They only store the hormones which are secreted by hypothalamus. Second option is placenta, and placenta do not produce any hormones which are responsible for changes in ovary. So first and second cannot be the correct answers. Third option is posterior pituitary, and neurohypophysis is another name for posterior pituitary. So this cannot be a correct answer. And the last option is anterior pituitary, which is a correct answer because it is this anterior pituitary which is also known as adenohypophysis secrete gonadotrophins, which are LH and FSH, responsible for the changes in ovary. So correct answer is option number 4. let's have a look at the next question. Question number 168. Site where release of second polar body in humans occurs is. Now the site where the second polar body has been released is fallopian tube. And why? Because it is the fertilization in which the entry of sperm into the secondary oocyte will induce the formation of second polar body. And where the fertilization occurs in human reproductive system? It is in the female reproductive tract, in the ampulla region of fallopian tube, where fertilization takes place. The fusion of male and female gametes takes place. So when sperm enters the secondary oocyte, it will lead to the completion of meiosis II and formation of secondary polar body. So the correct answer is option number 3. Now let's proceed to the next question. Question number 169. Which extra-embryonic membrane acts as shock absorber and prevents desiccation of human embryo? So we know that human embryo consists of 4 types of embryonic membranes. The first embryonic membrane is amnion, and this amnion provides protection to the embryo because the embryo is enclosed within an embryonic cavity which is filled with amniotic fluid, which will act as a shock absorber. So it is this amnion which will act as a protective layer. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2, that is amnion. So our correct answer is option number 2. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 170. The yolk sac of mammalian embryo is derived from. So we have to find out the origin of this extra embryonic membrane called yolk sac in mammalian embryo. Now from this diagram you can depict that the first membrane, that is amnion, it is internally lined by mesoderm and externally by ectoderm. The second extra embryonic membrane is allantois, which is lined by endoderm and mesoderm. The third extra embryonic membrane is chorion, which acts as gas exchanger, and it is internally lined by ectoderm, whereas externally by mesoderm. And the last extra embryonic membrane, that is yolk sac, is derived from mesoderm and endoderm. So the correct answer is option number 1, that is endoderm and mesoderm. So the answer is option number 1. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 171. Hormones released exclusively in a pregnant female include. So we have to find out that out of these options, which option consists of hormones which are released only during pregnancy. And the hormones which are released only during pregnancy are HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin. Then we have HCS or HPL, that is human chorionic somatomammotropin. Human chorionic somatomammotropin or human placental lactogen. This HCG also stimulates relaxin, which will facilitate parturition. What is parturition? Delivery of the baby. So these 3 hormones, HCG, HCS and relaxin, are exclusively produced only during pregnancy. So the correct answer for this question would be option number 2. That is HCG, HCS, HPL and relaxin are the only hormones. exclusively released in pregnant female. Now all other hormones, that is estrogen, progesterone, thyroxine, cortisol, oxytocin, prolactin, inhibin, these are the hormones which are released during pregnancy or before pregnancy also. So the correct answer is option number 2. Let's proceed to the next question. Question number 172. Which of the following set has structures with similar size? And the very first option given is zygote and morula. Now in the given diagram, you can see that zygote or fertilized egg will undergo successive cleavage divisions, but there is no growth in the size of blastomeres. And this zygote will form morula, which is a solid mass of 8 to 16 cell stage and share a similar size to that of fertilized egg. So option number first is a correct option and is a correct answer to our question. Option number 2 is ooted and sperm, and these two gametes varies on the process of their formation. Ooted is formed during the process of oogenesis. Following fertilization, when sperm will enter the cytoplasm of secondary oocyte, it will lead to the completion of meiosis II, and an unequal division of cytoplasm will form a haploid large ovum and a tiny second polar body. And this haploid ovum is known as ooted. And during the process of spermatogenesis, from the spermatogonia, equal division of cytoplasm will lead to the formation of spermatids, which will undergo differentiation to form spermatozoa or sperms which are equal in size. So sperms will vary in size with the ooted. So option number 2 is an incorrect option. Option number 3 is ova and blastocyst. Ova or egg will form morula. And with the formation of blastocele in morula, it is converted to form a structure called blastula, or also known as blastocyst in case of humans. So ova and blastocyst share different sizes. So this cannot be a correct answer. Option number 4 is secondary oocyte and polar body. And we know that secondary oocyte will undergo unequal cytoplasmic division to form a haploid ovum and a tiny second polar body. So these two vary in size. So this cannot be a correct answer. So the correct answer for this question is option number 1, that is zygote and morula, which share similar sizes. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 173. Let's read the question first. Calcium plays an important role in motility of sperm. The calcium channels are inserted in sperm membrane. Now we know that spermatozoa, they attain their maturity, they mature and attain their motility in epididymis. And this involves the activation of a unique set of proteins which belong to the family of Casper family. Casper is a family of unique set of proteins, and these are localized in the principal piece of sperm tail. This Casper, it forms in alkali-sensitive calcium channels that become more active when the sperm go from the acidic vagina to the cervical mucus, which has an alkaline pH. So, this Casper family will insert or will form alkaline-sensitive calcium channels in sperm membrane. So, according to the question which say that calcium channels are inserted in sperm membrane, option number 3, that is when they are temporarily stored in epididymis. So, the correct option is option number 3. I hope the solution is clear to you. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 174. Decline in level of mainly which hormone triggers shedding of stratum functionale in uterus of a non-pregnant female? So for this, we must understand that endometrium is composed of 2 layers, that is stratum basilae, which is the deepest layer and doesn't shed during the menstruation cycle, and stratum functionale. When fertilization doesn't occur, this will lead to regression of corpus luteum, which is the main source of hormones like progesterone and estrogen. And these hormones are responsible for the maintenance of endometrium. When this corpus luteum regresses, it will lead to the withdrawal of the hormones responsible for the stability of endometrium, and this withdrawal will lead to the shedding of the functionale. This will lead to shedding of this layer called stratum functionale. So which hormone is responsible for the maintenance of these layers? It is the corpus luteum mediated release of progesterone. So according to the question, the hormone which triggers the shedding of stratum functionale is option number 2, that is progesterone. Progesterone is a correct answer. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 175. Select a feature or function not performed or applicable to placenta or umbilical cord. So feature or function not performed or applicable to placenta or umbilical cord. So the very first option given is placenta act as ultrafilter and fetal lung. And this is a correct statement because placenta will act as a fetal lung and as well as ultrafilter. The second option is it permits the movement of antibodies such as IgG from fetal to maternal circulation, and this is an incorrect statement because there is no mixing of blood during the period of pregnancy. And also the movement of antibodies will take place from maternal circulation to fetal circulation and not vice versa. The third option is all blood vessels in umbilical cord carry 100% fetal blood only, and this is a correct statement. Our last option says placenta act as temporary endocrine gland, and this is a correct answer as we have already discussed that placenta will form several hormones like HCG, HCS, HPL or relaxin. So the incorrect option among the following options will be option number 2 and is a correct answer to our question. I hope the solution is clear to you. Let's move on to the next question.